after 7 practices, being involved with this football team, being an anxious coach as we all were, stepping out there on the football field for the first time, I was very proud to see what these players have done throughout the summer, their work ethic, their leadership that the seniors provided for the young football team that we do have. And I was excited about seeing that we had gotten better. We had been doing things correctly throughout the summer, and that just transpires, of course, to the football field for preseason. And it continues to get better. I think because we're such a young football team, having 33 new faces out there that have really never been through an Illini two-a-day, you're considered a young football team. But I've seen progress every day, and I have to say that is attributed to the way that the seniors are pushing, the way that the underclassmen that have played, the Monheims and the Svetinas and Bentleys, and the offensive line with Michael Heinz and Simon and Teddy Karras, the way that those young men have pushed this football team to get better. So very happy to see that. Hey, 7 practices. We just started. We're looking forward to going out to Rantoul tomorrow and get on that football field first thing in the morning.
Coach, what was your reaction when the NCAA told you you couldn't play the scrimmage in high school?
Well, I mean, it was brought to my attention about a week ago, and maybe I guess I should have checked into it a little bit more, so I'll take some of the blame on that. I was just upset because, again, for my thinking behind it was, of course, for the city of Rantoul, and wanted to provide them an opportunity to play in their high school stadium and provide for the community and provide for the surrounding areas, central Illinois. We'll do the same thing. I mean, we're going to open up practice. We're going to bring in some bleachers and make sure that we can get as many people involved in the practice that we can. We kick practice back. We usually get started around 4, but we're going to move it back so that people can come after work. So we won't get started until around 5:45, so that people can come and watch us work out. So, I'm sorry we can't go to Rantoul, but we're going to make it work. And that's one of the things that we're talking about as a program this year. Find a way to make it work. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
What kind of goals do you have for the scrimmage? What are you looking for tomorrow night?
Well, again, the competition. I mean, the things that we talk about from, the first day that we joined this program is to compete and to continue to compete at all positions. I think if you look at the quarterback position right now, they're very, very comparable. I mean, Nathan and Riley have been doing the things that we ask them to do and do it right. Aaron Bailey's come in, learned the offense extremely quick, and he adds kind of another dimension for us offensively. So, those 3 competing against each other and see who can be the best. Same with the offensive line, building the youth, the freshman offensive tackles that we have, and the junior college offensive tackle, and building those guys, making sure that they provide. And then, of course, on defense, when you only have 4 returning starters, you're going to make sure that those players get tested. It'll be ones-on-ones, and we'll get after it and grade it and learn from it in game situations.
What does Martez Barr show you this week?
The first thing I'd say is about Martez is I think he's a great talent. He continues to get better. I think he continues to learn the demands of playing the position of wide receiver in the Big Ten. I see him as being a young man that can make plays out on the perimeter. He's got great quickness, exceptional hands. So he has definitely made the stride to compete to be a starter. There's no question about that.
Tim, you said all along, Nate's our starter right now. After a week, is it?
Nate's our starter. Yeah, Nate's our starter. Nate has had a great spring and preseason for 7 days. That's the greatest thing that you got going for you. We tell this football team that the great teams are the ones that are constantly competing out there on that practice field, making themselves better. We want our number 1 corner to go against our number 1 wide receiver in one-on-ones. That's just going to make you better. So, again, the competition that we require our football team to provide for themselves, to make themselves better, I've seen that in 7 days.
Coach, you also said, though, that they're comparable when you were talking about Nathan and Riley. So talk about that. I mean, you said they're comparable. So
well, they're comparable in meaning that, right now, they're if you took the stats and those types of things, they're not comparable in the things that they do and do well. Riley's arm's a little bit stronger than Nathan's, but Nathan's way that he carries the football, runs the football, he does those a little bit better than Riley. So they both have intangibles that are very comparable to making the offense successful. And when Riley's in, of course, we're throwing the ball a little bit more. When Nathan's in, his arm has gotten stronger, but he enables us to do more things with sprint outs and play actions and those types of things that can enable him to be better.
Does Bailey have an equal role in a competition? I mean, do you consider it still 3 quarterbacks?
No question. Yeah, I mean, it's only after 7 practices. Yesterday was our first 2 a day. The day before was really our first padded practice. What we're doing with Aaron is slowly getting him involved in it because it's a learning, as a freshman quarterback, it's learning. And, we do have a freshman quarterback that started last year at Oklahoma State that's on this team. But he was there in January. So he got spring football. Aaron Bailey didn't get spring football. So, we have to continue to push the offense to Aaron and get him ready as soon as possible because he does have the talent that he can help us this football season.
What is he differently out of the wide receivers?
Well, again, we need to continue to work on getting off press, work on, avoiding collisions from receivers, if they're in a squat technique or if they're playing seam techniques as linebackers, avoid the reroutes. We've got to be a little bit more elusive, and we have to be consistent in catching the football. Can't have drops, and cannot, when we're talking about catching the football, you've got to get open, and you've got to make sure that you understand the scheme and what we're trying to triangle attack in the passing game.
Coach, the junior college players you brought in, have they brought what you hoped? I know it's only been 7 days, but have they brought what you hoped to the roster?
Yeah, no question. Martez by far would be the first one. He was the first player on offense that we have the stripe thing. So our players voted that Martez had made that commitment to this football team, and you could see that on the football field. I think, Eric Finney, there's no question that Eric Finney is bought into this program, was a young man that was going to be a factor for us, where it's going to just be a little bit later. It's not going to be right away due to his injury. Dallas Hinkhouse done a great job for us. He continues to compete to be a backup to Simon, but that's, we brought him in here to compete and be that. Abe Kajust has done a great job of moving back inside to add some depth to that area, and has had a very, very good 7 days. And then last but not least is Zane Petty. And again, Zane's kind of the scenario where he was unlucky to have that injury before spring. So he's kind of being force-fed the defense as fast as we can, and he's running as number 2 safety right now for us.
Besides Finney, will anybody else set out tomorrow scrimmage, or is it no?
The ones that have been out, there's no new names. It'll be the ones that have been out as right now.
Chance to work with special teams.
Yes, Justin Dubois had a great camp so far, 7 days of it, and knock on wood, Taylor Zalewski's has not missed one yet in a live situation. So we're continuing to improve. Both of them are young. I think at the return position is the biggest thing that we need to continue to improve on. Martez Barr, D'Angelo Bentley, Josh Ferguson, Miles Osei, our 4 names, without counting any freshmen yet, the 4 names that definitely have to step up, and we need to be better at our return game. There's no question about that.
Should we read into the order you just gave those names? Is Barr?
Barr, now, the starting returner is D'Angelo Bentley. Will be our starting punt returner, backed up by Miles Osei. And then Barr is the third. As kickoff returners right now, it's Ferguson. We go with two deep, Ferguson and Osei, and then Barr and Mosley would be the backups to those two guys. And of course, we haven't had the scrimmage situations yet on special teams, only being in pads 2 days.
And you really like what you say from Mosley. You've mentioned him several times.
The freshman class has been very, very good. I'm very impressed with our freshman class. And, I think that there's going to be a lot of skilled freshmen that are going to have a lot of opportunity to play this year.
What is this man, Caleb Day?
Caleb, just learning. I mean, he's got great talent. He's got great speed. Got great work ethic. He works extremely hard learning it. But again, he is in a position that playing safety that is, you have to have the intelligence because you are the quarterback per se of that defense. You've got to make sure we're in coverages based on looks and those sorts of things. So, Caleb Day's going to have a chance to play, but we've got to make sure that we're getting better and with the football intelligence.
You talk about the running back position. You look at running back by committee or when you had to emerge there? Or?
Well, Donovan Young's is our guy now. If we go in there and start right now, Donovan Young's going to be our tailback. We will play with multiple backs in the backfield. I mean, when you have someone like Josh Ferguson and Dave Yayula, Lakeith Walls, who we moved back to running back after the spring, has shown us a little bit. But right now it's Donovan Young, and Donovan Young would be the first guy out there on the field.
Does John Davis figure in there at all?
Yeah, John has also been placed in the backfield a little bit too. And Tim Clary is another young man that's been in the backfield for us. So those are the two tight end type football players, along with Trevor Cantonin, the new tight end, that would also be guys that could be in the backfield.
Are you exposing John to the contact yet?
Yeah, John was involved in the last two. He has a green shirt on. You've seen him out there in the green shirt, which is just an awareness for our football players to understand, when we're going to butt up, to be smart. But he'll be able to scrimmage for us and do those types of things. Steve Hall did practice yesterday, was in a green jersey, just as we assumed he would, and he'll be available and ready to go tomorrow morning.
Defensive line, a lot of new faces there.
A lot of new faces. Houston Bates has played a lot. He didn't get to play for us last year due to injury. And he's done a great job at that Leo position. You've got Austin Tietzma and Jake Howe, who have, again, been involved in playing for us. Didn't play a whole bunch last year because Jake Howe was injured, broke his hand early. Tim Kennard has taken a lot of snaps for us, been involved in the football program. It's the depth. The depth is the issue. It's the same thing. We're still incorporating a lot of freshmen on our football team, but it's an exciting thing that we're building, and it's a positive thing that we're building because our players are out there eager and energetic about being able to step out on the football field at a young age and play. And so that as a coach, you feel that, and that's what's great about being on that football field with these kids working is their energy and their excitement about having that opportunity to get out there and perform.
Tim, you've said the staff is more cohesive. What ways does that show up?
Well, again, I think it definitely with on the offensive side of the ball. I've been more involved with defense majority of my life, and I think with Coach Cubitt, Coach Rick are working together. I think also with Alex Golish and his knowledge of what we used to do at Toledo that fits into a little bit of what we do here. I think it's been good. You see an excitement coming from our players' eyes when they're out there and they're capable of moving the football, they're catching the football, they're running play action passes and getting the ball out quick and doing things of that nature that we probably didn't do enough of last year. So again, that cohesiveness has been very, very good for us in the first 7 practices.
Has that allowed you any kind of different freedom? I know last year you kind of involved yourself in a lot of everything. You just
Yeah, I'm a defensive guy. I've always been a defensive guy. And, when we had some scenarios last year when we weren't moving the football or we weren't, turning the football over too much, way too much, or having a quarterback get sacked, I, felt that I needed to step in to try to get it corrected as best we could. And, I think right now I've enjoyed the structure of what we're doing defense, and I've enjoyed being able to work with the corners. I mean, that's my passion, is to coach football. I know a guy down at Alabama that does the same thing. And he has a passion to coach football, and that's what I do, and that's what I love doing.
Coach, talk a little bit about the corners and the secondary as well.
We're very, very young. There's no question about it. I think we're talented. I was very impressed with Jalen Dunlap coming in. I've coached the corners the majority of my life, and he has definitely shown some things that I think can make him a great player. He just needs to continue to progress. But I'm happy with the work ethic. It's just that there's some youth in there. There's no question about it. Safety-wise, I think that, again, with Ernest Thomas and his availability last year to play a new position and then to play a lot for us, really helps with the maturity back there with the Taylor Barton who's standing next to him, who's a redshirt freshman that didn't play last year. They got very, very good football smarts. Again, I know I use that word a lot, but they do understand the game of football, which is very, very important. It's the depth scenario that we have there. We've got to continue to push and get us and make sure that we have proper depth.
Can you envision any of the true freshman defensive backs winning a starting job?
Sure. Yep. No, it's early. I would say right now that you've probably got 3 young men that after 7 days have impressed me. Really 4, if you consider that star position a DB position. They've done a very, very good job. And Darius Mosley, Jalen Dunlap are the 2 corners that continue to make plays. And, that is good to see. And then, at the safety position, I think Caleb Day. Darwin Kelly's not far behind, but Caleb Day would be the next. And then James Crawford, as our star position, has done an excellent job, too. He's been very well coached, and he understands the game. He's a freshman, I understand that, but you can tell that he's got great knack for the game.
Not including Thomas, it's all currently sophomores, redshirt freshmen, true freshmen. How quickly can a secondary go from young and a relative weakness to one of the greatest strengths of the team?
Well, we hope quickly. There's no question about making sure that these kids keep on trying to produce and be successful. The first year coaching in the Big Ten, when I was coaching the secondary, we had a freshman playing for us too, and that young man ended up winning the Thorpe Award. He was a special talent, but sometimes you have to play those freshmen, and sometimes you have to get them ready. And hey, that's what the situation was dealt to us and what we had to do. And that's what we're going to have to do. So keep it simple, make sure they understand what they're doing, and, react and play.
Do you have any concerns about their physicality, being young, getting banged up, or being able to tackle as well as they need to in games?
Well, it is growing up quick. We had 2 that had to play linebacker last year that had to play the last 5 games after being out of high school. Again, this isn't the NFL. We can't get somebody off the waiver wires. That's who we have, and that's what we recruited them as, to come here, and that's who we're recruiting right now, to come here. If you want a chance to play, you're going to play. And I think Darius Mosley being here already, but the other 3 are not. Of course, we'd like them stronger, but they're not. So, we're going to have to make sure that we keep them fresh so that they're there to play on Saturday.
Getting back to Bates, how strong of a hold does he have on the Leo spot? You've got a couple of impressive freshman athletes behind him who I know you like.
I'll tell you what, Houston Bates has probably had as good of preseason and spring ball until he got dinged up than we've had really on defense. He's done a great job of leading, even though he's not a senior. He's leading this football team, and he works extremely hard. So right now, Houston Bates is probably the leader, along with Jonathan Brown and Mason Monheim, of our defense.
Coach Beckman, talk about your offensive line. What have you seen out of them so far?
I've seen a more physical group. I've seen a group that's more, I know we've used this word, I guess they're more cohesive. They play together better. They're communicating better. And, I think that also the fact of some of the schematic things that we're doing, it enables them to be successful because we can get the ball out quicker. So I've been happy with them. They're working extremely hard, and I see a little bit of tenacity also in that group, getting after it and going 24 straight years and playing hard.
Anything else while we're in here with